Happy Taco Tuesday. We are back on the hunt, back on the prowl for more value here on PrizePicks. My name's CJ Curry. If you're new to the channel, thanks for being here. Get subscribed. I'm doing the research for you each and every day, looking for the best NBA player props that I can find. These are positive expected value plays. These are plays that are projecting well on reputable NBA projection models. So if you don't want to do the research and you want to put it in my hands, well, then you have to live with the results. But we're going to do the research together in this video, and we got 4 different options that we're going to be taking a look at on today's PrizePicks board. Now, if you're not playing on PrizePicks, it's a great time for you to get signed up. PrizePicks is still doing that fun little promotion where the first $5 you play, whether you win or lose, they're going to give you $50 back, which is basically a 10x multiplier on that $5 that you put into play. So if you want to take advantage of this deal, go down to the description of today's video, click that link, use promo code CJ Curry, and you can start playing on PrizePicks pronto. Remember, today is Taco Tuesday, so they will be releasing various player projections at a discounted rate. Think of these as like flash sales basically on PrizePicks throughout the day. So if you want to take any of these picks, pair them up with your favorite tacos, feel free to do so as long as they haven't bumped up by more than 1 point. If they're a point bump or more, then leave them alone, all right? That's the rule. Anyway, getting into today's picks, let's look at the first guy here, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal of the Phoenix Suns going up against the Utah Jazz, 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. For this number, it's looking a little too high, so we're looking to take the under. Now, why do you think that it's looking a little too high, Mr. Curry? Well, because when you go out and you look at the sports books and look at this information on Bradley Beal, you're going to see that most places have him at 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And based on the odds or the juice, the action coming in on these sports books, looks like you got about a 53.5% chance that he's going to stay under 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So if you think about this, a 53.5% chance is a far cry from a 100% chance. If it was a 100% chance, there would be no risk involved, right, gang? But in fact, this is a 53.5% chance based on the odds pulled from these various sports books. So there's still about a 46.5% chance that he goes over 30.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You see how math works? That's how math works. Looking at FanDuel, they've got him at 29.5. DraftKings has him at 29.5. BetOnline has him at 29.5. Hot Streak has him at 29.5. Parlay Play has him at 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So the 30.5 is looking just a tad bit too rich. I can see this possibly coming down to 30, maybe even 29.5, depending on how the action moves throughout the day. Take a look at some projections because you guys seem to love to see the projections. There's a lot of different ways that you could play Bradley Beal today. This is RotoWire. If you want to take RotoWire for an all-access 2-day trial, there's a link down in the description of today's video. Link to everything. The Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, save yourself some money, RotoWire, various other DFS promo apps. I got links to everything down in the description. But if you look at Bradley Beal here on RotoWire today, their proprietary projection models are loving Bradley Beal for less. A lot of projections coming in on the under for Bradley Beal. So for me, I would either take the under on one of these player props for Beal, or I wouldn't take the over at all. Like, I would just fade it or leave it alone. I probably wouldn't be taking the over on Bradley Beal. I know Kevin Durant's out. These projection models and the sportsbook lines makers know Kevin Durant's out too. Trust me, they've already factored that information in. But as far as the projection goes, 29 points, rebounds, and assists on his PRA, putting him under the 30.5 marker. Take a look at the simulation tool over on Fantasy Labs. This one is another one that you guys always ask me to pull up, so let's pull it up together. Looking at Bradley Beal on the projections for Fantasy Labs, he's sitting out there at 27.2 points, rebounds, and assists. He's not on the simulation tool as of right now, but still, you see their projection of 27.2 puts him well under the 30.5 number. And then we've been using shot quality, which are the probably most advanced NBA player projections that I have found. This projection model is absolutely insane. Everything that they take into account, everything that they factor in here, everything from the shot type to the defender's height to the defender's distance, from the shot distance. They track so many different advanced analytics and stats. They're using AI modeling and machine learning to help perfect their models as much as humanly possible. But yeah, we've been using shot quality, so let's take a look at the shot quality projections for Bradley Beal. Punching in Bradley Beal's name, you see that the points, rebounds, and assists for Beal are set at 26.7. So again, that is well under the 31 PRA number. If he gets 31 or more, we're cooked, right? Maybe he does. But the projection models, the data pulled from the sports book, everything says take the under on Bradley Beal tonight going up against Utah. So that's your first pick. Second pick is going to be Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks. Now, this game is plagued with injuries on both sides, but the under is looking like the way to go here. Now, when I talk about injuries, I'm talking about Trae Young is listed out. DeAndre Hunter is listed out. Bogdanovich is still out for Atlanta. Over on the Boston side, obviously Porzingis is out, but they're looking at maybe Horford and Tatum possibly sitting out as well. So there's a little bit of risk involved here. I mean, there's always risk involved when it comes to NBA player props. Just look at Jose Alvarado last night. The guy tweaks his leg out of the blue, only plays 18 minutes when he had been getting 30+ minutes every single game up to that point. So that's why I say don't nuke anything. Be responsible with your bets. Nothing's promised, nothing's guaranteed, and nothing, definitely nothing, is a lock. But anyway, a lot of injuries here, but right now Boston is 15-point favorites to win this game against the Atlanta Hawks. So we'll just have to see how things kind of shake out with some of this injury news, but Jalen Johnson under 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists looks like a good option. When you go and take a look at where he's at on these various sports books, using the data from these sports books, he's got about a 53% chance of staying under 39.5 PRA. A lot of books like FanDuel, like DraftKings, and BetOnline already have him at 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists, suggesting that the 39.5 is probably just a touch too high. When we take a look at the projections for Jalen Johnson, starting over on RotoWire, you're going to see a similar sentiment here. A lot of lean less suggestions by RotoWire in their projection models. If you scroll down here, pretty much everything Jalen Johnson related is an under. So I would not be playing any Jalen Johnson overs personally. I would either play the under or I just wouldn't play him at all. But taking a look at the PRA breakdown, 33.9 projected points, rebounds, and assists. And yes, they've already factored in that Trae Young won't be playing. So again, stop trying to overthink. Any kind of bias, any kind of edge you think you have is already factored into these lines from the projection models, is already factored into the lines from the sports books. And so, you know, they got all the bases covered, guys. There's a reason why they say the house always wins. But taking a look here, the projection of 33.9 is a far cry from the 40 PRA that Jalen Johnson would need to go over tonight. So leaning under looks like the best option. Pulling them up here on the sim tool on Fantasy Labs, you can see there's a couple different moves that they like here. Jalen Johnson under the 39.5 PRA number, about a 60.4% win percentage here, 2.7% edge, or you could go Jalen Johnson under 29.5 points plus assists. So two different ways to go on Jalen Johnson. Let's pull up the actual projection for Johnson. Jalen Johnson's projection, 37.2 over on Fantasy Labs. Again, putting him well under 39.5. So don't be surprised if this gets bumped down to 39 or 38.5. And of course, shot qualities, advanced analytics, and projections. We got to look at those. The projection for Jalen Johnson there, they've got him at 40.7 on shot quality. So kind of average them all out, all these projections, and he's more than likely shaded under 39.5 PRA when you factor in the RotoWire projection with the Fantasy Lab projection, and you got to factor in the shot quality projection. And just to keep in mind, these projections, you should always shave off about 10 to 20% of whatever it's projected for. So that would put Jalen Johnson just a hair under 40 PRA. So might be tight, might be sweaty. We'll have to see how things play out with the Boston Celtics and their injury news. The next one's going to be Jakob Poeltl of the Toronto Raptors for more than 12.5 points. At 12.5 points, this number just seems a little bit too low, especially when you factor in where he's shaping up and sitting on these various sports books. So let's do that now. Using real data pulled from real sports books, you can see that Pirtle sitting at 12.5 points, about a 52.5% chance of going over. A lot of sports books out there have him at 13.5 already, including the sharpest sports book that's out there, Pinnacle, considered the gold standard. All right, 13.5. You got DraftKings at 13.5. You got BetMGM at 13.5. Caesars at 13.5. And a lot of other places have him at 13.5. We're getting him at 12.5 on PrizePicks, so let's take advantage of this opportunity. When we go over here to the RotoWire projections and we type in Jakob Poeltl's name, you're going to see that a lot of the projections for him are leaning more or over. Left-hand side here, all these blue bars, they're trending in the over direction or to the right. So we open up his player projection card for his points. He's sitting at 14 projected points, which again is more than 12.5. Pretty easy stuff here, guys. You're comparing projections versus the player prop lines over on PrizePicks. All right, going over to Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs in their sim tool. Let's see if he's over there on the simulation tool. He is. You got about a 60.02% win percentage on Jakob Poeltl over 12.5 points. That's about a 2.3% edge or advantage. Taking a look at the actual projection, getting you that figure now. Poeltl projected for nearly 15 points at 14.9, taking on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. So a very solid projection for Poeltl there. And then last but not least, shot quality and their projection for Poeltl, 15.25. So they got him going well over the the 12.5 marker that he's currently sitting at out here on PrizePicks. So don't be surprised if this one gets bumped to like 13. Maybe 13.5. We'll just have to see how the market heats up when people start waking up, getting that crust out of their eyes. The last pick is going to be Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat. A lot of great looking options for Bam Adebayo. Pretty much everything Bam related is trending over. We'll just do the points for this video just as a talking point here. 18.5 points. Hasn't done a great job of scoring the basketball here recently, but obviously Jimmy Butler is out, and that opens up a lot more opportunities for a guy like Bam to get more shots up. But I wouldn't be mad if you wanted to go like PRA instead, or maybe even rebounds and assists and skip the points altogether. There's just going to be a lot of different good ways to play Bam Adebayo with the way things are trending up for him today. Taking a look at some of these lines here for Bam, 13.5 rebounds and assists. You got about a 53.2% chance. This one has the best odds or best chance of going over right now. So again, if you wanted to skip the points, I ain't mad at that sentiment. You go over to BetMGM and look, they've got him at 14.5. Caesars has him at 14.5. Fliff has him at 14.5. So the market's already moving on from the 13.5. And they've got him up at 14.5 rebounds plus assists. The PRA, also a solid option. BetMGM's got him at 33.5 PRA versus PrizePicks, who only has him at 32.5. And Caesars has him at 33.5. BetOnline does as well. So you're starting to see the market move on from some of these lower lines on Bam and readjust to a higher line. So we need to take advantage while it's still early. You can go points if you wanted to. 19.5 is where he's sitting at out on Pinnacle. So they've got him a whole point higher than where his line currently sits at just 18.5. Same thing with BetOnline. They've got him at 19.5 as well. PR is another solid way to go. Like I said, pretty much anything Bam Adebayo related is going to be an over outside of his points and assists. That one's looking like more of an under option. But lots of different ways you can play Bam Adebayo. So hopefully that information helps you out. Taking a look at some of the projections for Bammer. Again, the points and assists over on RotoWire is the only one that has a lean less or under option. Outside of that, you got the rebounds and assists as their top projected play. You got the points, rebounds, and assists, just the points if you want those. You got the points and rebounds, the rebounds, or just the assists on their own. Everything is leaning more, trending over. So popping this open here, he's projected for 21.1 points tonight, which is a big number compared to the 18.5 that he's currently sitting at over on PrizePicks. Now, this one's probably got the highest hit rates. He's projected for 16.4 rebounds and assists, but if you take a look at the hit rates from just this season, done a great job of recording at least 14 rebounds and assists or more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times he has actually gone over out of 9 games in which he's appeared. So 6 for 9, very solid hit rates for Bam there. Taking a look at the Fantasy Labs simulation tools on Bam Adebayo. The top way that they have to play Bam Adebayo is going to be the points. A 61.88% win percentage with over a 4% edge or advantage. So the Sims really like Bam Adebayo on the Fantasy Lab simulation tool. Taking a look at Adebayo projections over on Fantasy Labs. His points, 21.7 projected points. If you guys want to see some projections for some of the other categories discussed herein, you got 26 for the points and assists. You've got 30.6 for the points and rebounds. 34.9 for the points, rebounds, and assists. So a lot of big numbers being projected for Bam Adebayo. I also like the fantasy score, but that's not up on the PrizePicks board yet. But keep an eye out for Bam Adebayo's fantasy score as well. Taking a look here at some projections on shot quality. Just the points alone, 20.2 points. Again, we talked about the points. We talked about the rebounds and assists. They're sitting at 13.29, so that's a little light in the ass. 33.5 PRA, 29.34 on the PR. So those are like your top options when it comes to Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat taking on the Detroit Pistons tonight. So there you go, gang. 4 different options, all projecting well, all positive expected value plays, all starting to see some trends on the sports books for higher or lower than where their line is currently sitting on PrizePicks. Bumps do happen on PrizePicks. If anything gets bumped by more than a half a point, I would be very cautious and careful in playing it. And that's all I've got to say for today. Leave a like on today's video. We'll catch you guys in the next video real soon. Peace.